Is driving on the sidewalk okay where you live? Because here, it certainly is for us. One of the most difficult things to do as a YouTuber that likes to film outside on the street is getting good audio quality. And today, I want to go ahead and give you guys a YouTuber's perspective and review of the Comica BoomX-U. Now, right now, I'm just using one of the transmitters with the transmitter's built-in mic here on the loud and busy streets of Hanoi, Vietnam. Oh, rush hour in the beautiful city of Hanoi. Now, one of the big benefits to using a wireless system like the Comica BoomX-U is that unlike a shotgun microphone such as the Rode video mic or a variety of other shotgun mounted microphones, is that it doesn't matter which orientation you have the camera. I can point the camera in front of me and you guys are going to continue to hear me just as good as you were before. And honestly, this is a big reason why a wireless lav mic system like this is perfect for a YouTuber. But one of the big questions is which wireless lav system to get. We have a wireless lav system right now from Rode, and Rode is updating it with the Video Mic Go 2. We have the Comica BoomX-D series, and we have the Comica BoomX-U series. So why might you want to buy the Comica BoomX-U versus the Comica BoomX-D? Now, the U in XU stands for ultra high frequency. If you're someone that wants to possibly film in a big outdoor city like this, or a little bit further away from the camera, then this is the mic setup for you. I had previously bought the Comica BoomX-D for a documentary that I'm currently working on about a recovering drug addict on the run from the Latvian or Lithuanian mob for committing some various crimes. He's clean now, but we had bought the Comica BoomX-D to use on that project. And here in a busy city like Hanoi, that 2.4 gigahertz band that the Comica BoomX-D utilizes for transmitting audio signal, in my case, the range was just not good enough. And it might not be good enough for you, depending upon where you live, simply because of the other 2.4 gigahertz interference, ciao, that you might encounter in a busy city. The quoted range from Comica is not only direct line of sight, but it's going to depend a lot on other interference and the overall how crowded that 2.4 gigahertz spectrum is in your location. Is driving on the sidewalk okay where you live? Because here, it certainly is for us. Okay guys, let's try and do this together. Follow the Tay, the guy behind me knows. Vietnamese people wouldn't dare hit a foreigner, so follow the Tay. Tay is the Vietnamese word for foreigner, or Tay. Here, this is what I put up with every day. Oi, oi, oi! Kuidi! Oh, I made it! Okay, so behind me is like one of the big movie theaters here in Hanoi, and I actually have a crazy story about going on a date with 2 sugar babies and a sugar daddy here at this movie theater. It's not a story I'm gonna tell right now, but this is before I knew anything about how like normal sugar babies or just paying for female companionship was in Vietnam. Is that something that you have where you live? It's not even just crossing a main street here. So another key difference between the Comica BoomX-D and the Comica BoomX-U is that the Comica BoomX-D has a little LCD screen on all of the transmitters as well as the receivers, whereas the Comica BoomX-U only has, here, it only has a screen on the receiver. Focus, focus, focus. And because there's only a screen on the receiver, this can make knowing your battery percentage, knowing the channel that's on, a little bit harder, let's fix that, to do. In fact, I would say that if you're just the average YouTuber that doesn't really care about ultra long range, doesn't care necessarily about filming outside in a busy city where there could be a lot of interference at the 2.4 gigahertz band, I would just say get the XD, because ultimately it's a simpler product that will make your life easier. And if we're trying to simplify audio, then you should just get the simplest audio solution that requires, or that allows you to have that wireless transmitting experience that you're probably looking for. Now, another, you're trying to decide between the Comica BoomX-U and the Comica BoomX-D is going to be battery life. Now, although the Comica BoomX-U quotes it at being 6 hours of battery life, in real world testing on the documentary that I'm working on, I was getting approximately between 4 to like 5 hours of receiver on time and about 4 to 5 hours of transmitter on time. This is with the transmitters on essentially all day, not necessarily paying attention to them like turning off when we're not rolling and stuff like that, because in a documentary, you're always supposed to be rolling. Something to take of note, and something that I was not aware of, is that although both the Comica BoomX-U and the Comica BoomX-D use a USB Type-C connection for recording, and you can actually record or you can actually charge them while using them, it's not USB-C power delivery. Now, USB-C is just a connector that is used to connect different sources of data or power, whereas USB Type-C power delivery is a specific power delivery protocol for charging, which means that the charging brick and the device being charged can communicate back and forth. These do not have USB-C power delivery. They do charge over USB Type-C. Now, if you're someone like myself that has a variety of chargers, and some of those chargers being USB-C power delivery, the red light on this will show up showing that's receiving external power, but the device will not charge. I found this out the hard way because I have a couple of USB Type-C power delivery charging bricks, and I'll have a link to those videos up here. By the way, these bricks from Lav Power are excellent if you're working on a set or if you're working on a documentary and you need to be able to charge a variety of USB-C, micro USB, and other devices that accept USB power. Now, another difference between the XU and the XD is how you actually pair the frequencies between the receiver and the transmitter. On the Comica BoomX-U, as soon as you turn it on, you need to have the transmitter and the receiver with the infrared transmitter facing each other. That way, both the transmitter and the receiver can communicate about which frequency to go ahead and pair to. This makes the process a faster process than using the Comica BoomX-D, where you have to manually pick the channel that they're going to be on. With this, you turn it on, you make sure that they're pointing at each other, and it works flawlessly. That said, you have to make sure that you turn both the transmitter and the receiver on at the same time. Otherwise, you're going to have issues with them matching up for the channels and just overall working. Now that we've covered most of the differences between the two of them, I want to talk about one of the really neat, really handy features, especially if you're not used to doing wireless audio like this, and that is the design of the microphone. Now, as long as you're using a Comica microphone, these are the ones that are included when you purchase it, there is an extra connector so that you can go ahead and have a more firm connection between the lav mic and the transmitter, or the transmitter itself. This means that it's much more difficult for it to become accidentally unplugged. I know Sony has transmitters where you actually screw in the knob to the top and bottom, but I think that this is a nice, happy compromise between giving you some type of resistance against pulling out versus destroying the whole thing if it gets caught on something. In my experience with these microphones and with these lavs that come included with the Comica Boom, these lavs are good. They're not amazing, but at the price point that these things come in at, they are completely usable, and in my opinion, they are a great value, if that makes any sense, because if you compare the price of the Comica versus the price of the Rode Video Mic Go, you're gonna have to buy an extra set of microphones to go with the Rodes if you wanna use lav mics. With these, they're included and they sound pretty good, but you guys be the judge and tell me how I sound right now. So we just switched to the lav microphone. I just have the cord running down my pocket and I have the transmitter clipped onto my belt. And I think that there is definitely a difference between the lavs and the built-in mic, but if you need to film out in the field and you want to be able to hand someone a microphone back and forth, the fact that these have a built-in microphone and you could just kind of put this on a selfie stick, hand it to someone, or find another mounting mechanism for these makes it really convenient. This is just very much an average day here in Vietnam. We just came out of another lockdown due to COVID, and people are out enjoying this pretty lovely weather actually. Before we wrap this video up, I want to answer a question that was left as a comment on my last video, which was, where am I from and why am I living in Vietnam? Or why do I still live here, I should say. And to answer that question, I'm American. I was born in Los Angeles, California in 1990. Went to Calabasas High School, class of 2008. I've been living in Vietnam now for almost 4 years. And why am I still living here? Well, me living in Asia in general turned into a much longer stay than expected. I was planning to live in Chiang Mai, Thailand, work on my YouTube channel. At the time, I was doing more daily vlog stuff, not really doing necessarily product reviews or anything tech related. Oh, this guy's got a fish. Although with how polluted the water is here, I would not be eating that fish. Maybe he's just fishing for fun. Oh, and I can't go this way. And so after I came to Vietnam with a beautiful Portuguese girl that I met in Thailand, because we both needed new visas, her and I ended up splitting up a day or so after we got here. I was just living on savings. She was working remotely. And I wanted to start working because I didn't really want to travel like a backpacker here. And within 2 weeks of living in Vietnam, meeting girls on Tinder, I met an English teacher here and she just told me to get my TOEFL certificate. And that is all I would need to start living, working, and teaching in Vietnam. A week or so later, I got my TOEFL certificate and I had job offers and I started living here. Now, why do I still live here? Well, because I can have my YouTube channel here and I can work 20 hours a week, make enough money to save money and buy tech that I review, and lead a relatively simple life here. After living outside of America for over a year and just realizing how enjoyable a simple life was, or a simpler life was here, I decided that I wanted to learn the language and begin living here. Well, that was like 2 years afterwards. But if you've never lived in a Western country, there's a lot of other stuff that makes life more complex. It makes it more difficult, and ultimately it makes it less happy. And then living here in Vietnam, I found that the simplicity was just something that ultimately I really enjoyed. And then I started to learn the language. And since I've been studying Vietnamese, or I should say, sau khi mình học nói tiếng Việt, cuộc sống ở đây đơn giản hơn bởi vì mình gặp vấn đề ít hơn. Basically, I've encountered less issues here after I learned to speak Vietnamese, and everything here changed. Okay, comment below if I should dance with these ladies in the next video. If I get like 30 comments telling me to dance with them, I 100% do that.